So, Jeff, I've met people that know that they have had a ghostly encounter. So, what do you say to those people that say they've had a ghostly encounter?
Well, I know some of the same people. I mean,
Yeah.
I know people who have said that, and at the risk again of just messing some people up. That whole idea makes very little sense to me. Okay, for example, I've been in Key West and I've seen Robert the Haunted Doll, and this doll supposedly is haunted, and it's in a museum behind a glass case. That's where it's supposed to stay. You know, there's these stories about all these things that happen with the doll, and so then for me, as I'm listening to the story, and I love to go see this stuff. So then I have to then come up with this scenario that makes sense in my head and heart. So the spirit of a child attached itself to this doll. For what purpose? I mean, you start trying to think through things rationally. So you've got haunted rooms, haunted dolls. It's explained that energy has attached itself to certain things. And it begs the question, why? And here's the real reason. I know that nothing that's created by human hands has a soul, right? Because it's not living. So anything out there that's supposed to be like a haunted artifact or a haunted relic, which always is good stuff in a horror movie, and it is great stuff in a horror movie, but basically you have to make that whole mind jump that says somebody created this and somehow this now has a soul or a power because, some crazy nut job made it. It doesn't wash. It doesn't even make sense when you say it or hear it out loud. And not to ridicule, it sounds like it did, but not to ridicule the people that believe that. It just is the way it is. But then even beyond that, if people who've said, well, I've seen, recently I was at a place that is supposed to be haunted, and I didn't know it was haunted when I went there. It was a museum, but supposedly on a haunted tour, they will tell you that the man is dressed as a Union soldier at the top of the stairs. So I asked why. And they said, well, what? And I said, why is somebody dressed as a Union soldier at the top of the stairs? Because they were killed just outside of these walls. I said, so the ghost walked in the house and this has just stayed here? Yes. And it just shows up on the stairs randomly through ghost tours? Yes. I said, well, why doesn't the ghost change clothes? And they looked at me really funny. I said, because seriously, why does a spirit need clothes anyway? I mean, it makes no sense, right? They've got no form, so they just are trapped forever in the clothes that they were wearing that they got killed in? Really? I mean, I have trouble with that. And I think when you start kind of, tear away at the stuff, people will hear that and they'll go, oh, dude, you're just a skeptic. I am. I'm a skeptic from the standpoint that if it's paranormal activity that is spiritual in nature, it's either an angel or a demon. I'm not worried about the angels and I'm not worried about the demons, but there is a big difference in how they operate. And somebody's great Aunt Helen isn't haunting their house just because she loved the house or the architecture or the furniture, or Aunt Helen is now tearing everything up in the house because we sold the furniture. Okay, that just doesn't land in the common sense, make sense, ask questions, explore area. And this is where the guys on TV get in trouble a lot, because they start looking at the history and the reasons that this can be happening, and so they start attaching meaning where there is no meaning. And before you know it, you got somebody that's kind of scared. And so most things can be explained away. So I am very skeptical about that. Then again, as I have said now throughout the course of this, if it is a demon, no, you do have a problem. And if you're coming up against a demon or some demonic force, my hope for that person is that they have a relationship with Jesus where they really do have that God factor in their life to counteract that. And then you don't have to be afraid of that either, because Scripture teaches, greater is He who's in me than he who is in the world. Satan is in the world. Mm-hmm. Jesus lives in me. So as a result, I don't have to be fearful of it. Respectful? Sure. Do I need to understand it? Maybe. Do I need to mess with it? No. And I think that there are some people who are wired better than others to handle it, and some people who are, not quite able to navigate it as well. And everyone should know that level of comfort that they've got, and I think that would help them a lot. And so, it needs to make sense. Right. And if it doesn't, I think it can be explained away.